Five-year-old boy and uncle killed in two-vehicle crash. Two people, including a 5-year-old boy, are dead and a third person is in hospital following a two-vehicle collision along the Fullerswood Main Road in St. Elizabeth on Thursday. The deceased have been identified as 5-year-old Christopher Gallimore of Arlington and his uncle, Joshua Rowe, of Snipeboat of St. Elizabeth. According to reports, Mr. Rowe was transporting his nephew home from Santa Cruz Prep when he attempted to overtake a vehicle and crashed into a pickup which had been traveling in the opposite direction. The injured people were transported to the Black River Hospital, where the boy and Mr. Rowe died while undergoing treatment. The driver of the pickup was treated and admitted. St. Elizabeth has recorded 11 road fatalities since the start of the year. NHD policy change to benefit contributors under 35, says Holness. The National Housing Trust NHD will be reserving up to 10% of the housing solutions in the current housing plan for contributors under 35 years old who are currently at a disadvantage compared to older contributors. Over the next 5 years, this will result in approximately 4,300 housing solutions being available at 100% financing up to $15 million, subject to affordability levels for this age cohort. Prime Minister Andrew Holness, who made the announcement Thursday, stated that the policy represents another wealth creation initiative of the government target towards youth. He pointed out that based on the NHD beneficiary selected system, the longer you contribute, the greater your chance of selection for a scheme unit. Consequently, older contributors are the ones mainly selected from NHD scheme units. The Prime Minister said the NHD was cognizant of some of the indirect consequences of this policy and its direct impact on specific groups, particularly contributors below the age of 35. The thrust data suggests that this group is underrepresented in scheme selection, even when factoring for other affordability and accessibility levels, such as intergenerational and parent-assist mortgages, which then take into account the points of the older applicant, stated Holness. Manager testifies in ramp attendant drug trial. A ramp attendant manager testified on Thursday in the case of Jermaine Scott, who is on trial for the possession of 5.5 pounds of cocaine. The drug was discovered in the defendant's raincoat, which was hidden inside a restroom at gate number 2 at Saxon International Airport. The witness, who works from an airline handling company at the airport, was the one who testified on Thursday in the ongoing trial, which began last year. During his evidence-in-chief, the witness stated that he first learned about the incident from his general manager in January last year while they were having a conversation in the parking lot of the airport's administrative offices. According to him, he was not assigned to work on that particular day. Furthermore, he stated that he had the task of creating a 6-week roster and identified Scott in court as one of the employees who was scheduled to work on the day of the incident. During cross-examination, Scott's lawyer, Henry McCurdy, attempted to elicit information about how the access to gate number 2. McCurdy was particularly interested in learning about the specific steps and protocol for entering gate number 2, as well as the attire that employees were required to wear. The witness described the types of uniforms provided and stated that, while it may not seem necessary to carry a raincoat when the weather doesn't call for it, the employees also make sure to have one on hand. He went on to explain that upon arrival at the security checkpoint, all employees will be subjected to a thorough inspection, which included the removal of any raincoat that might be wearing at the time. No additional witnesses were called to the stand, and the hearing was scheduled to continue on March 26. Scott's bail was extended. Scott was arrested on January 29 last year during a law enforcement operation by the Narcotics and Customs Contraband Enforcement Team. On September 4 last year, a customs officer testified that around 11:13 a.m., he was conducting operations on ongoing flights and went to the restroom at gate number 2. When he entered, he noticed a ramp assistant exiting the facility, who immediately informed him that he had left his raincoat inside. He explained that the man Scott removed a blue raincoat from behind a cubicle, and as he was about to leave, he stopped him and asked to see the coat, but he seemed hesitant and clung onto it. He described how the man eventually handed him the coat, which felt unusually heavy, and he had a package in the pocket, leading him to suspect that it was containing drugs. The customs officer stated that he contacted his colleagues and drug enforcement agents, and the man was then taken to the narcotics office, where they discovered 4 rectangular packages containing cocaine. Scott was subsequently arrested and charged with breaches of the Dangerous Drug Act. Satin unable to say when the 2022 Population and Housing Census will be concluded. There is no confirmation as to when the 2022 Population and Housing Census, which began in September 2022, will be completed. The Statistical Institute of Jamaica gave an update on the census at a press conference. It was revealed that counting has been completed in 70% of the country's enumeration districts. Responding to questions regarding the completion of the census, Deputy Director General noted that the Institute is in the process of assessing the undercoverage seen in the census. She noted that Stanton will continue to provide periodic updates on the process.
We are in the process right now of determining the post-enumeration activities. So for every round of census that has ever happened in Jamaica, you have the main data collection. Following the main data collection, what usually happens is that there is an assessment of the undercoverage, and if necessary, there are supplemental activities. The census is not complete. What we have stopped is main face-to-face data collection. And there is a myriad of information out there on the challenges of the 2020 round of censuses. All countries have been having challenges. Jamaica, in the last census, our coverage rate was 80-something%. But what we're saying is that we are continuously assessing what's happening. We are continuously adjusting in light of the challenges that come up. And we are also ensuring that the conduct of the census is consistent with international standards and best practices. The census is still being processed. So the information at this point in time, we would not be releasing a date for the publication of the census. What we will do is we will continue to provide periodic updates. We do have our quarterly press briefings where we will provide our updates as we go along. So we're currently in the post-enumeration phase, and this census has been so unprecedented in the sense that there are so many unforeseen challenges that we have encountered that it would be premature of us to give you a date right now. However, we promise that we'll continue to provide the updates at our quarterly press conferences.
Mother of slain attorney forgives killer soldier husband. The mother of former attorney Nadria Williams Burnett, who was in the 2018 murder by her husband, former Jamaica Defense Force physiotherapist Burnett, has risen to the defense of her son-in-law, whom she described as a great husband, father and son-in-law, who treated her daughter like a queen and would never intentionally harm her. Burnett, who was first diagnosed with generalized anxiety depression in 2008, according to the evidence laid in the matter by his attorney, Jacqueline Samuels Brown King Counsel, declined over the years, leading to him being diagnosed with schizophrenic affective disorder. Burnett murdered his wife on December 13, 2018, at their West Kirkland Heights St. Andrew apartment after a quarrel the night before. According to the statement of the then 8-year-old daughter, which was read out on day 2 of the trial in February this year. My mother and father would quarrel a lot. I counted the times that they had quarreled, and it was 12 times. One time when Daddy and Mommy were quarreling, I saw Mommy crying. When I saw Mommy crying, I felt like crying too, the primary school student said in her evidence. She said in the penultimate quarrel on Wednesday, December 12, 2018, the couple was in their bedroom at their West Kirkland Heights St. Andrew apartment. I heard Mommy was shouting at Daddy, then I heard Daddy talking, but I did not hear Mommy responding. Early Thursday morning, I went to look for Mommy and Daddy. I saw their bedroom door open and I saw Mommy 2 legs first, then I saw Mommy lying on the bed. I saw something red on the bed. The red thing that I saw on the bed looks like blood, she said in her statement. I saw Mommy stand up and was screaming. I then saw Mommy fall on the floor, and I saw my Daddy lift up my Mommy and put her on the bed. When I saw Daddy lift up Mommy and put her on the bed, he walked to the bedroom door and closed it. He was in the room, the child said. Burnett had pleaded guilty to manslaughter on the basis of dismissed responsibility. On Wednesday, his mother-in-law, who was one of several individuals interviewed by a probation officer who complied a social inquiry report ordered by Supreme Court Judge Justice Dale Palmer, indicated that although the death of her daughter is hard to bear, she cannot harbor ill feelings towards the ex-army man and has forgiven him. The grieving woman said she also still loves her son-in-law and feels unable to do otherwise, even though others of her family members, especially Nadria's father, are still struggling to forgive him. She described Burnett as very domesticated, stating that he handled most of the household chores while he, his wife, and their 2 children resided with her for the first 8 years of their marriage in Montego Bay. The woman said based on her recollection, Burnett continued to be the same after, and his wife and children relocated to St. Andrew because of their jobs. According to the woman, while she knew Burnett was dealing with mental health issues, she had no idea of the extent until the week he killed his daughter. She told the probation officer that at no point did her daughter express fear of Burnett or any disbelief that he would harm her or the children. According to the former attorney's mother, Nadria was more fearful that he would hurt himself. However, the senior prosecutor who led the evidence in making her sentencing submission on Wednesday pointed out that while Burnett is an educated man, a university graduate, a professional who knew from as early as 2008 that he was suffering from mental illness, his children are now having to face all that good and bad, negatives and positive, without a mother to guide them. He needs to be punished so that he will understand the consequence of his action and inaction. It is a custodial sentence that the Crown is urging on this court, she stated. In noting the unusual range of manslaughter with diminished responsibility is 3 to 5 years, the prosecution suggested a starting point of 5 years for Burnett, with discounts for his guilty plea, time spent on remand, and his previous good character. Arguing that a probation order would shut the public conscience, the prosecution said a custodial sentence would serve the public interest. Justice Dale Palmer on Wednesday, after hearing the submissions, said he would need time to consider before handing down his decision. Burnett, in the meantime, had his bail extended. Please remember to subscribe, like, share, and click the notification bell for daily updates.